when you learn from the rabbis, and this can be true, but one of the first things they'll teach you is that Noah, he may have been a tzaddik in his generation, but he wouldn't have been so great in any other generation, and in fact he wasn't so righteous. Even though the Torah does call him a tzaddik and does call him righteous twice, and does call him perfect, in fact. But they always compare him to Abraham. This is the classic example. I'm going to show you a couple things here that will flip that on its head and uh, put it into question, at least. So there's two sources here. At that time, the Lord spoke unto Noah and Methuselah. And this is where it gets interesting, because they say Noah didn't argue on behalf of the people like Abraham did on behalf of the people of Sodom. So God was going to destroy Sodom, and Abraham famously argued on their behalf, saying, like, will you wipe out the whole city if there are like 10 righteous people in it? And that Noah should have done the same. Not even thinking about the fact that they're two totally different generations. But anyway, so they say Noah should have done this, and he didn't even try to warn the people. This source here will prove that to be incorrect. So at that time the Lord spoke unto Noah and Methuselah, saying, arise and cry out in the hearing of all the sons of man all the words which I have spoken unto you sometime since, and maybe the sons of man will turn from their evil ways, so that I might repent of the evil and not bring it about. So go tell the people so that I won't have to wipe them out. Maybe they will turn from their evil ways. And Noah and Methuselah arose and cried out loud in the hearing of all the people, all that the Lord had spoken unto them. But the sons of man would not hearken and would not incline their ears unto their words. So they tried and were ignored. And it was after this fact that the Lord spoke unto Noah, the end of all flesh has come before me on account of its wicked actions. So he did try, and they didn't listen, and this is why they were wiped out. And behold, now I will destroy all men from the earth, and take unto thee gopher wood, and go into the place, and make the ark. Okay, so like I said, they always compare him to Abraham. Now, watch this. Most people forget that Abraham and Noah were alive at the same time for a little while, and likely knew each other. And Abraham and Eleazar, who comes up again, said to Avram, whose name hadn't changed to Abraham yet, arise and flee for your life before the king's messengers come to kill you. For such and such was the king's dream, and thus the interpretation of Anuki and his advice concerning you. And Avram hearkened unto the word of Eleazar, and hid into the house of Noah and his son Shem to save his life. So Avram at this time, so Abraham went and hid at Noah's tents, and hid himself there, escaping death. And the servant of the king came to seize Avram, but he was not in the house. And they searched in the entire land and on all the roads, but Avram was not found. And when the king's servants were tired from searching, they returned unto their tents, and the king's anger soon was pacified, and all concerning the dream and Abraham was forgotten from the king's heart. So they went and searched, and after a year, or after a while, they gave up. And the king forgave him. And Avram was hidden for 1 year in the house of Noah, until the king had completely forgotten all concerning those things. But Avram was still in fear of the king because of the matter. And Terach, his father, came secretly to visit his son Avram in the house of Noah. And Terach stood very high, stood very high in the eyes of the king and in the eyes of the people. Interesting. You never hear of this source. You only hear of Noah in the negative.